This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of October 12th, 2020. People have been saying for some time that we've fallen down a rabbit hole. I disagree. It feels more like we have gone through the looking glass into a world where up is down or up is inside out, or people can be occupying the same geographic space but are in completely different realities. This week, we still have extremely intense activity in the sky. That's a given for this month. That's a given until the end of the year. This week, we start to look at what all this means for you. What does it mean for me? What does it mean for myself? Grappling with it and figuring out how we are changing and changed as a result of it. Retrograde Mars continues to be in a very harsh aspect to all of the planets at the end of Capricorn that are deconstructing the old order. And this week begins a process of the Sun going against all of those as well. The Sun's journey through this gauntlet is what makes it all personal. This is the moment of grappling with a lot of stuff ourselves, and the Sun's journey begins with staring down Mars on the 13th with a recognition of how much is outside of our control, how much we cannot act, perhaps a feeling of suspension, and then we go at it as we are forced to pare down, forced to simplify, forced to change our concept of ourselves, forced to reprioritize, and then, paradoxically, expand what is possible within us in the cleared space. While all this is going on, three big events occur. At the beginning of the week, we have the final sextile or opportunity aspect between the two most boundless influences in the sky, Jupiter, currently in Capricorn, and Neptune in his home sign of Pisces. A sextile opens a door. Jupiter makes everything bigger. Also has the possibility of showing the silver lining, but essentially, wherever Jupiter is, there's more of whatever he's touching. Neptune is the planet of transcendence, completely unmoored from physical experience, whereas Jupiter is tied to the ground since he's in Capricorn. So there's a window here, a possibility of beaming transcendent energies more into the ground, into the deconstruction process. To put this in more mundane terms, you could be experiencing a sense of everything is all right, despite what everything looks like. Everything's all right. God's in his heaven and all's well with the world, or all's right in the world. I'm not sure how it goes. There's a possibility here for enormous compassion and inspiration and incredible healing and compassion. I just keep coming back to compassion. And there's also an opening for a heightening of obfuscation, of gaslighting, of lies, of delusion, of crazy making, utterly drug-enhanced, substance-enhanced, Looney Tunes, fog coming off the cosmic fog machine. This is the last time this year that Jupiter and Neptune have this contact, and they will not meet again, with Jupiter in Capricorn and with Neptune in his home sign in this way for the rest of our lives. While that fog is gently encasing and obscuring and softening and cushioning everything that's going on down here, we have the final Mercury retrograde of the year. He stations retrograde on the 13th. He is retrograde until November 3rd. Yes, he stations direct on Election Day in the U.S. His retrograde begins in the sign of Scorpio and will back into Libra at the end of the month. This retrograde is under the guidance of Pluto, since it's in Scorpio. And Pluto is in the middle of this massive deconstruction process, and he's also traveling with the ruler of the sign that he's in, which is Saturn. So, this retrograde promises to be very intense, bringing up lots of secrets, possibly having to do with power, possibly having to do with government, backroom deals, backroom shenanigans. On a personal level, you may find yourself having amazing spidey sense. You could have X-ray vision. Your perceptions could be really, really accurate. You could be very easily communicating with people on the other side. Ancestral stuff is especially possible because of the interconnectedness of Mercury and Pluto and all that stuff in Capricorn. This is excellent energy for investigating, for researching, for ferreting out secrets, for going back over and redoing. Mars is also retrograde, redoing especially financial deals, things where there were huge secrets, lies, betrayals, with the possibility of bringing some resolution and compassion into situations. Ghosts generally show up during a retrograde. You may be having visitations from deceased relatives, from people that you had business deals with, from old sexual partners, with the possibility here of resolution. And the visitations could come in your dreams, in your thoughts, seeing stuff on social media, getting a text, actually speaking to them. So it could be virtual in your head and actually physical here on Earth. And while this is going on, we have the month's new moon on the 16th, which is in the sign of Libra, the relationship sign, the Venus-ruled sign. And this moon is locked into the battle that Mars and now the Sun are undergoing with all those guys in Capricorn. This moon and Mars and Aries are pressuring all the bodies in Capricorn, but specifically Saturn. Exactly, Saturn. They're pressuring those guys and Saturn from both ends. Something must evolve. Something must change. There are issues of accountability, responsibility, maturing. Saturn is the planet of adulting. So in your own life, there will be pressures for you to step up, to behave responsibly, to take responsibility for your side of every relationship equation, and possibly to set new ground rules in place based on who you are now. This is setting the new way that things are going to go. Libra likes things pretty and harmonious, but this is like Ike and Tina Turner singing Proud Mary when Tina starts at the outset, "We don't do anything nice and easy." Well, we're not doing anything nice and easy these days either. With one proviso. By the end of the weekend, Venus, who rules that new moon, Venus, who rules our social interactions and what we value, is in an opposition with her higher counterpart, Neptune. Venus is worldly love and creativity. Neptune is higher love and inspiration. We may see ways in which we have absolutely deluded ourselves about something. We may see ways in which we have absolutely deluded ourselves about certain relationships, about certain approaches that we always take. We could get a glimpse of how we have this idealized view of how things are supposed to occur between people and compare that to the reality of what's really here on the ground. We're all growing. We are all a work in progress. Homing thought of the week: what does this mean for me? Song of the week: A Change in Me from Beauty and the Beast. And the image of the week is coming across a photo of yourself from last December's holidays and comparing it to the latest selfie that you've taken. There's lots more about all this in my forecast for the month of October, and also my forecast for the Libra new moon, which will be up by Wednesday at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. Also, I have a talk called Action Figures that details what Mars is up to through the end of the year, and you can get that in the shop. There's lively discussion on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited and the group, the Astro-Insight Lounge. Lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who are supporting my work there. I post on Instagram at @KABiehl, and I'm on YouTube at The Professional Aquarian Channel. Talk to you next week.